The jet engines hummed softly as passengers settled into their seats. In row 4A, CEO Olivia Grant, dressed in an elegant gray suit, glanced at the man beside her. Work jacket, calloused hands, oil stains on his fingers. She smirked. "Flying business class? Looks like the airline changed their policy." He just smiled. "I'm flying for a different reason." She turned away, whispering to the flight attendant, "Keep your distance from him." The plane shook violently. A deep voice echoed from the cockpit. "This is your captain speaking. Any fighter pilots on board?" The man beside her unbuckled his seatbelt. His eyes changed, cold, precise. And Olivia Grant suddenly realized she had just mocked the only person who could save her life. Ethan Ward, 38 years old, single father. He worked as an aircraft maintenance technician at Aero Maintenance Company. Before that, he flew F-22 fighter jets, 200 combat missions, call sign, Falcon-Six. He left the military after an accident, after his wife died from cancer, after Emma, his 9-year-old daughter, needed him more than the sky did. Now he was quiet, steady, a man whose eyes still carried the weight of clouds. That morning, Ethan walked Emma to school. She handed him a drawing before running inside, a crayon airplane with wobbly letters underneath. "Daddy keeps the sky safe." He folded it carefully and tucked it into his wallet. Then he smiled, that gentle smile that came from deep places. He had a flight to catch, New York, business class, last-minute replacement for a colleague. The ticket was a leftover, business class. He felt out of place but took it anyway. He was already running late. When he boarded the plane, he passed a woman on her phone, sharp suit, expensive watch, confident voice. Olivia Grant, CEO of Helix Systems, aviation technology. 33 years old, brilliant, ambitious, convinced that machines were better than people. She was talking loudly. "I don't trust maintenance crews. They just wipe down panels and hope for the best." Ethan set his bag in the overhead bin. He smiled politely at her. "Let's hope luck is on our side this time." She didn't look up. "Let's hope you know the difference between a wrench and a butter knife." He replied calmly, "I've held other tools before. The kind that fly at Mach 2. She laughed, a mocking laugh. She thought he was joking. The plane took off smoothly. Passengers settled in. Olivia frowned at her broken Wi-Fi connection. Ethan closed his eyes, thought about Emma. His fingers brushed the wallet where her drawing waited. 10 minutes into the flight, the plane shuddered. Warning lights blinked. Warning. The captain's voice came through the speakers, calm but strained. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing a minor technical issue. Please remain seated with your seat belts fastened." Olivia muttered, "Minor issue. Just get me there on time." Ethan opened his eyes. He listened. The engine sound was wrong, uneven, struggling. He'd heard that sound before in simulators, in combat, in nightmares. He turned to Olivia. His voice was quiet but firm. "If an airplane's engine sounds like a heartbeat, you'd hear it asking for help right now." She frowned. "What are you talking about?" "It's calling for the person who understands it best." Outside the window, lightning flashed across dark clouds. The plane rocked harder. Passengers gasped. Olivia gripped her armrest, her confidence cracking. Ethan stayed still, watching, listening, waiting. He knew what was coming. He'd known since takeoff. Something was very wrong, and soon everyone else would know too. 10 minutes later, a loud bang echoed from the left wing. The cabin shook violently. Passengers screamed. A flight attendant shouted, "Keep your seatbelts fastened." The captain's voice came through the speakers, trembling. "Engine 2 is offline. Any experienced aviators on board? We need help immediately." Olivia's face went pale. "Oh my God, the plane just lost an engine?" Ethan took a deep breath. He unbuckled his seatbelt. His voice was calm and steady. "I am one." The flight attendant rushed over. "Sir, please stay seated." He pulled out an old card from his wallet. Navy blue, worn at the edges. The text read, "Captain Ethan Ward, U.S. Air Force. Call sign, Falcon-Six. Take me to the cockpit, now." The entire cabin fell silent. Olivia sat frozen in her seat, her eyes locked onto that card. Falcon-Six. The call sign from the Syrian war reports. The pilot who saved 7 teammates under enemy fire. Inside the cockpit, the captain was sweating heavily. The pressure system is failing. Engine 2 is on fire. Ethan's hands moved quickly across the control panel. He located the bypass switch. Cut the auxiliary fuel line. Hold a 15-degree angle. I'll stabilize us. Who are you? Someone who used to teach simulator training in Nevada. The cabin screamed as the plane tilted sharply. Ethan pressed the rudder pedal. His left hand pulled the control yoke. His voice came through the speaker system. Falcon-Six taking control. Brace for turbulence. In the passenger cabin, people held each other and cried. Olivia was shaking. Tears streamed down her face. She heard that familiar voice again. This is your captain speaking. Thanks to a passenger's help, we are stabilizing the aircraft. 20 minutes of hell passed slowly. The plane began its emergency descent. Ethan's hands never stopped moving, adjusting throttle, correcting pitch, communicating with air traffic control. Tower, this is Flight 372. Single engine, requesting priority landing. Runway 27 left. Copy, 372. Emergency crews are standing by. The co-pilot stared at Ethan in disbelief. Where did you learn to fly like this? F-22 Raptors, 200 combat missions. But today I'm just trying to get home to my daughter. The plane descended through thick clouds. The runway lights appeared below. Gear down, Ethan commanded. Gear down, confirmed. Flaps 30. Flaps 30, confirmed. The plane touched down hard but steady. Sparks flew from the damaged engine. The aircraft skidded slightly, then straightened. Fire trucks raced alongside them. When the plane finally stopped, the cabin erupted in applause and cheers. People were crying with relief, hugging strangers, thanking God. Olivia remained seated, motionless, staring at the cockpit door. Ethan emerged slowly. His shirt was soaked with sweat, oil stains on his arms. His face was calm but exhausted. The passengers stood up, clapping and cheering for him. You saved our lives. Thank you. Thank you. Olivia stood up on shaky legs. She walked toward him. Her voice was barely a whisper. You were Falcon-Six? He nodded slowly. And you laughed at my profession 20 minutes ago. She couldn't respond. No words came out. He walked past her through the crowd of grateful passengers. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, tugged on his jacket. Mister, are you a superhero? Ethan knelt down, his tired face softening into a gentle smile. No, sweetheart. I'm just a dad who knows how to fix things. The girl's mother hugged him, sobbing. You brought me back to my babies. Thank you. Olivia watched from a distance, tears rolling down her cheeks. The flight attendant who had tried to stop him earlier approached with tears in her eyes. Sir, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. You saved 183 lives today. You were doing your job, Ethan said kindly. Never apologize for that. As passengers filed out of the aircraft, Ethan stayed behind. He walked back to his seat in row 4A. He picked up his old work jacket. From the inside pocket, he pulled out a folded piece of paper. Emma's drawing, the airplane with the words, Daddy keeps the sky safe. He stared at it for a long moment, then carefully folded it and put it back in his wallet. Olivia stood at the exit door, watching him. She wanted to say something, anything, but her throat was tight. A news crew was already gathering outside, cameras, reporters, microphones. Ethan saw them through the window and sighed. He didn't want attention. He just wanted to go home. To call Emma, to hear her voice. As he walked toward the exit, Olivia finally found her voice. Wait. He stopped but didn't turn around. I was wrong about you, about people like you. I thought technology was everything, that machines don't make mistakes like humans do. But today, a human saved us. You saved us. He turned slightly. Machines are only as good as the people who build them and fix them, and sometimes fly them. He walked off the plane. Olivia stood alone in the empty cabin. The seats around her felt haunted by what could have been. 183 empty seats. She looked at seat 4A, where a man in a work jacket had sat. a man she dismissed, a man who saved her life. Outside, she could hear the reporters shouting questions. "Sir, what's your name? Are you a pilot? How did you know what to do?" But Ethan walked past them all, heading toward the terminal, heading home, to Emma. The next morning, the story exploded across the internet. Unknown passenger lands plane after engine failure. Mystery hero saves 183 lives. Who is Falcon-Six? Photos of Ethan helping the flight crew went viral. Millions of shares, trending worldwide. News channels played the cockpit audio recording on repeat. Falcon-Six taking control. People called him a hero, an angel, a guardian of the sky. But one detail caught everyone's attention. A passenger had filmed Olivia Grant, CEO of Helix Systems, being helped off the plane, shaking, crying. The internet connected the dots quickly. Wait, isn't Helix Systems that aviation tech company? Their CEO was on that flight? Didn't she say something about maintenance workers last week? Old interview clips resurfaced. Olivia at a tech conference 6 months ago. Human error causes 90% of aviation incidents. That's why Helix Systems is developing fully automated flight systems. We're removing the human factor. The clip went viral alongside footage of Ethan saving the plane. The irony was brutal. Comments flooded in. The CEO who wanted to replace humans was saved by a human. Technology didn't save that plane. A maintenance worker did. Maybe she'll think twice about who she looks down on now. Helix Systems stock dropped 12% in one day. The board of directors called an emergency meeting. Olivia sat at the head of the long conference table. Her hands were folded. Her face was pale. "We need damage control," said Marcus, the chief operations officer. "The media is destroying us." "Our brand is built on automation," added Sarah, the chief technology officer. "This makes us look like hypocrites." "We need a statement," Marcus insisted. "Distance ourselves from the incident." Olivia stayed quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. Her voice was soft but firm. "No, we don't distance ourselves. We learn from it." The room fell silent. "What?" Marcus looked confused. "I was wrong," Olivia said, "about a lot of things, and I'm not going to hide from that." She stood up. "Schedule a press conference. Tomorrow. I'll speak personally." "Olivia, that's not a good idea." "It's the only idea," she said. "Because the truth is, we were saved by someone I dismissed, someone I disrespected. And if I can't admit that publicly, then I don't deserve to lead this company." The next day, Olivia found herself driving to a small aircraft maintenance hangar on the outskirts of the city. The building was old, paint peeling. A faded sign read, "Aero Maintenance Co." Inside, she found Ethan. He was wiping down a propeller blade, his hands covered in grease, his work clothes the same as on the plane. He looked up when she entered. Surprise crossed his face for just a moment. "Ms. Grant." "Olivia, please." He set down his rag. "What brings a CEO to a place like this?" She took a breath. "I owe you an apology, a real one, not a public relations statement, a real apology." "You don't owe me anything," he said quietly. "I did what anyone would do." "No," she said firmly. "That's not true. You did what only someone with your training, your experience, your courage could do, and I mocked you for it. I judged you before I knew you." He studied her face. "You weren't the first. Won't be the last. That doesn't make it right." Silence hung between them. "Can I ask you something?" Olivia said. "Go ahead." "Why did you leave the Air Force? You were clearly brilliant at it." Ethan's expression shifted. Pain flickered in his eyes. "There was an accident," he said slowly. "Training mission. My co-pilot was injured badly. I brought the jet down, but he never flew again. Lost his career, his dream. That wasn't your fault." "Maybe not, but I couldn't shake it. Every time I flew after that, I saw his face, heard his screams." He paused. "And then Emma's mother passed away. Cancer. Emma was only 3. She needed me more than the Air Force did. So you left everything behind." "I left the cockpit behind. But I didn't leave the sky. I just found a different way to keep it safe." He gestured around the hangar. "Every bolt I tighten, Every system I check, I'm making sure pilots and passengers come home, just like I want to come home to Emma." Olivia's eyes filled with tears. "You're a remarkable man, Ethan Ward. I'm just a dad trying to do right by his kid. Can I meet her, Emma?" Ethan hesitated, then nodded. "She's here, actually, in the office, doing homework." He led Olivia to a small room at the back of the hangar. Emma sat at a desk covered in colored pencils and papers. She looked up when they entered. "Daddy! Hey, sweetheart, this is Ms. Olivia. She was on the plane yesterday." Emma's eyes went wide. "The one you saved?" "One of them, yes." Emma jumped up and ran to Olivia. "My daddy keeps the sky safe, always." Olivia knelt down to Emma's level. "He does, sweetness. He really does. Want to see my drawing?" Emma didn't wait for an answer. She grabbed a piece of paper and showed it to Olivia. It was a picture of a plane flying through clouds, stick figures in the windows, and written across the top in crayon, "Daddy is the sky's superhero." Olivia's tears spilled over. "It's beautiful, Emma, just beautiful." Emma hugged her suddenly. "Don't cry, Ms. Olivia. Daddy says when people cry after scary things, it means their heart is waking up." Olivia held the little girl and sobbed. Ethan watched quietly, his own eyes glistening. When Olivia finally composed herself, she looked at Ethan. "I have a press conference tomorrow. The board wants me to spin this, control the narrative, protect the company image. What do you want to do?" "I want to tell the truth, that I was saved by someone I disrespected, that human beings are not weaknesses in the system. They are the system." She paused. "But I need your permission first, to tell your story." Ethan considered this. "You can tell them about the plane, about Falcon-Six, but leave Emma out of it. She deserves a normal childhood." "Of course." He extended his hand. "Then you have my permission." She shook it. "Thank you." As she turned to leave, Emma called out, "Ms. Olivia?" "Yes, sweetie." "Will you come back and visit us?" Olivia smiled through her tears. "I promise." 1 month later, Helix Systems made a major announcement. They were launching a new division, Helix Training Center, a program dedicated to training young pilots and aviation professionals. And they had appointed a new chief safety advisor, Captain Ethan Ward, call sign Falcon-Six. The press conference was packed, cameras everywhere, reporters from every major outlet. Olivia stood at the podium, Ethan beside her wearing a clean button-down shirt instead of his work jacket. She spoke clearly into the microphone. "1 month ago, I was saved by a man I had dismissed, a maintenance worker I thought was beneath me. I learned something that day, something our technology can never teach us." She paused. "When the sky is falling, only human hands can catch it. Only human courage can steady it. Only human hearts can save it." The room was silent. Captain Ethan Ward didn't just save 183 lives that day. He saved me from my own arrogance. And today, Helix Systems commits to never forgetting that lesson. She turned to Ethan. "Welcome to the team, Captain." The room erupted in applause. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted questions, but Ethan only looked at the front row where Emma sat, holding a sign she'd made herself. "My daddy, what Miss Olivia when Sky Heroes." He smiled, that quiet, gentle smile. And for the first time in years, he felt like he was exactly where he was meant to be. 3 months later, the Helix Training Center was thriving. Every morning, Ethan arrived at 7. Olivia was always there before him, 2 cups of black coffee waiting on his desk. "No sugar," he smiled, "just like you on that plane." "Bitter and necessary," she laughed. Their partnership surprised everyone. The former CEO and the maintenance worker, working side by side, but it worked. Ethan taught the technical classes, flight mechanics, emergency procedures, crisis management under pressure. Olivia handled the business side, funding, partnerships, media relations. Together, they created something neither could have built alone. They launched a speaker series called Human in the Loop. The message was simple but powerful. Technology is only as good as the people who use it. Every session began the same way, with a recording, the captain's voice from that day. "Any fighter pilots on board?" And then Ethan's response, "I am one." It never failed to give people chills. Olivia spoke at the first public seminar. Her voice was steady but emotional. 3 months ago, I stood on a stage and said human error was the problem, that we needed to remove humans from the equation. She paused. I was wrong, catastrophically wrong. The audience was silent. I mocked a man because I thought I was above him, because he wore a work jacket instead of a suit, because his hands were dirty from honest labor. Her voice cracked. And then that man saved my life. The sky doesn't care about your title. It doesn't care about your bank account or your business class seat. When everything falls apart, only courage matters. Only skill matters. Only heart matters. The room erupted in applause. After the event, a journalist approached Ethan. Captain Ward, how does it feel to go from maintenance worker to chief safety advisor? Ethan thought for a moment. I'm still a maintenance worker. I just maintain different things now. Dreams, safety, trust. The journalist scribbled notes. And your relationship with Ms. Grant? You two seem very close. Ethan glanced at Olivia across the room. She was talking with Emma, both of them laughing. She's a good person who made a mistake, and she had the courage to admit it. That's rare. That's worth respecting. Emma had become a regular visitor to the training center. She did her homework in Ethan's office, drew pictures for the instructors, made friends with the student pilots. One afternoon, she presented Olivia with a new drawing. It showed a plane flying through blue sky. 2 stick figures stood on top of the plane holding hands. Written across the bottom, Falcon-Six and Miss Olivia keep the sky safe. Olivia stared at it, tears forming. Emma, this is incredible. You can hang it in your office, Emma said proudly. So you remember. Remember what, sweetie? That you and Daddy are a team now. Teams don't let go. Olivia hung the picture behind her desk in the center, where everyone could see it. The Federal Aviation Administration took notice of their work. They invited Ethan to consult on new safety protocols. The Air Force reached out, asking him to train next-generation fighter pilots. He politely declined. My flying days are behind me, but I can teach others to fly better than I ever did. One evening after everyone had left, Olivia found Ethan in the simulator room. He was sitting in the cockpit of the flight simulator, not running it, just sitting. You miss it, she said softly. He nodded. Every day. The speed, the freedom, the feeling that you're touching the edge of what's possible. Why don't you fly anymore? Recreationally, I mean. Because Emma needs me on the ground. He smiled sadly. And honestly, after what happened to my co-pilot, I lost the nerve. Not the skill, the nerve. Olivia sat in the co-pilot seat. You saved 183 people without hesitation. That sounds pretty nervy to me. And that was different. That was necessity. When you have to save lives, fear disappears. It's just training an instinct. Maybe that's what courage really is. Not the absence of fear. Just knowing what matters more. He looked at her. Really looked at her. When did you get so wise? I learned from the best, she smiled. A guy in a work jacket. They sat in comfortable silence, the simulator cockpit around them, the glow of instruments. Thank you, Ethan said finally. For what? For giving me a reason to fly again, even if it's from the ground. Thank you for catching me when I fell, she paused, in every sense of that word. Outside the window, the sun was setting over the runway. Emma burst through the door. Daddy, Miss Olivia, come quick. There's a rainbow. They followed her outside. The 3 of them stood on the tarmac, watching the colors arc across the sky. Emma stood between them, holding both their hands. See, she said, even the sky knows when people are supposed to be together. Ethan and Olivia exchanged a glance and smiled. 1 year later, the anniversary celebration of Helix Foundation filled the grand ballroom. Pilots, engineers, students, families, all gathered to celebrate a year of transformation. On stage, a banner read, Human in the Loop, 1 year of saving lives together. Emma, now 10 years old, stood at the podium, her voice clear and confident. My dad told me something once. He said every person has their own sky, their own space where they belong. The room was silent, listening. He said we should never make fun of people who haven't flown high yet, because maybe they're busy fixing the wings. Maybe they're helping others fly first. Tears filled many eyes. My dad fixes planes. Miss Olivia builds companies, but together, they fix something bigger. They fix the way people see each other. The ballroom erupted in applause. Standing backstage, Ethan wiped his eyes. Olivia stood beside him, her hand gently touching his arm. "She's incredible," Olivia whispered. "She's everything," Ethan replied. When Emma finished, the crowd stood. A standing ovation that lasted 3 full minutes. Olivia took the stage next. She looked out at the sea of faces. "A year ago, I was the most arrogant person in this room." She smiled sadly. "I thought success meant being above people, in first class, in the corner office, above everyone else. But at 30,000 feet, when the engine exploded, I learned the truth. We're never above anyone. We're all just trying to land safely." She gestured to Ethan. "Captain Ethan Ward didn't just save my life. He saved my soul. He reminded me that dignity isn't about where you sit. It's about how you show up when everything is falling apart." The room erupted in applause. Ethan joined her on stage. Emma ran up and hugged them both. The photographer captured the moment. The 3 of them, together. That photo would become the symbol of Helix Foundation. After the ceremony, Olivia found a quiet moment with Ethan on the balcony. The city lights sparkled below them. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked. "Leaving the Air Force?" Ethan looked up at the night sky. Stars scattered across the darkness. "I used to. Every single day." He paused. "But then I realized something. I didn't give up flying. I just changed altitude." He turned to face her. "You gave me a second mission, a new purpose. You gave me a conscience," Olivia said softly. "And a family." Emma appeared in the doorway. "Are you two being mushy again?" They laughed. The 3 of them stood together looking up at the stars. "Daddy," Emma said, "do you think Mom can see us from up there?" "I know she can, sweetheart." "What do you think she's saying?" Ethan smiled. "Probably. Keep the skies safe, Falcon-Six," Emma grinned. "And keep Miss Olivia safe too." "Always," Ethan promised. 6 months later, the U.S. Air Force unveiled a new training initiative, the Falcon program, named after Captain Ethan Ward. Ethan stood on the tarmac at Nellis Air Force Base. Behind him, an F-22 Raptor gleamed in the sunlight. Emma stood beside him in a junior flight suit, honorary wings pinned to her chest. She saluted the jet. "Thank you for bringing my daddy home safely." The pilot saluted back. One of them knelt down. "Your dad is a legend, kid," Emma smiled proudly. "Then be kind. That's what he does best." The final scene. Ethan stood alone on a runway at sunset. In his hand, he held Emma's letter from that morning. "Dear Daddy, regular people don't save the world. You did. I love you to the sky and back. Love, Emma." An F-22 roared overhead. He smiled, because he knew something most people never learn. Courage isn't about flying the fastest jet or sitting in the best seat. Courage is showing up, being present, doing the hard thing when no one's watching. It's being kind when the world tells you to be cruel. It's staying humble when the world tells you to climb higher. And it's remembering that every person you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. So treat them with dignity, because someday you might need them to save your life. The sun dipped below the horizon. Ethan walked toward his car, where Emma waited with hot chocolate and a new drawing, where Olivia would join them for dinner, where home was. The sky behind him blazed orange and gold, and somewhere in the clouds above, a mother smiled down at her family, proud, safe, together. If you believe courage and kindness can still change the world, share this story. Subscribe to Single Dad Stories. We tell real moments that remind people how good it feels to do the right thing.